Hello everyone. Today I am Rishabh Bhardwaj, Assistant Professor from the Mechanical Department, taking the lecture of Applied Thermodynamics. Today in this lecture we will study about the flow of steam through the nozzle or the flow of refrigerant through the nozzle. Simultaneously we will learn about the diffuser and their efficiencies and their applications. Let's start with the introduction of the steam nozzle. That a nozzle is a duct by flowing through which the velocity of fluid increases at the expense of pressure drop. If the fluid is steam, then the nozzle is called as steam nozzle. The flow of steam through nozzles may be taken as adiabatic expansion. The steam possesses a very high velocity at which of expansion and the enthalpy decreases as expansion occurs. The major function of nozzle is to produce a steam jet with high velocity to drive a turbine. The friction exists between the steam and the side of the nozzle. The heat is produced as the result of resistance to the flow. The phenomena of supersaturation occur in the steam flow through nozzles. This is because of the time lag in the condensation of the steam during the expansion. Here, the area of such duct having minimum cross section, that is known as throat. The fluid is called compressible if its density changes with the change in pressure brought about by the flow. If the density changes very little or does not changes, the fluid is said to be incompressible. Generally, the gases and vapors are compressible, whereas the liquids are incompressible. We have three types of nozzles. First is convergent nozzle, second is divergent nozzle, and third one is convergent divergent nozzle. Convergent nozzle having the large entrance and small exit, by which it will enhance the flow of the steam, water, or etc. passing through it. In the divergent nozzle, the entrance is smaller while the exit gate is larger, by which it will decrease the flow of fluid or air. In the convergent and divergent nozzle, we have the combination of convergent and divergent nozzles, by which it will enhance the flow or speed and simultaneously controlled over the divergent place at the exit. A typical convergent nozzle is the cross-section area decreases continuously from its entrance to exit. It is used in a case where the back pressure is equal to or greater than the critical pressure ratio. The divergent nozzle. The cross-section area of divergent nozzle increases continuously from its entrance to exit. It is used in a case where the back pressure is less than the critical pressure ratio. Then we have convergent divergent nozzle. In this condition, the cross-section area first decreases from its entrance to the throat and then again increases from throat to the exit. This case is used in the case where back pressure is less than the critical pressure. Also in present day applications, it is widely used in many types of steam turbines. Next we have the flow of steam through nozzle. As a supersaturated flow or metastable flow of in nozzles. As steam expand in the nozzle, the pressure and temperature in it drops, and it is likely that the steam start condensing while when it strikes the saturation line. But this is not always the situation. Due to the high velocity, the time up to which the stream resides in the nozzle is small, and there may not be sufficient time for the needed heat transfer and the formation of liquid droplet due to the condensation. As a result, the condensation of steam delayed for a while. This phenomenon is known as supersaturation, and the steam that remains in the wet region without holding any liquid is known as supersaturated steam. The locus of the point where condensation occurs regardless of the initial temperature and pressure at the entrance of the nozzle, it's called Wilson line. The Wilson line generally between 4 and 5% moisture curves in the saturation region on the enthalpy entropy diagram in case of steam, and is taken as 4% moisture line. By the help of this diagram, you can see the flow of steam through the nozzle. At the initial phase, we have the moisture line, that in which the enthalpy and the entropy increases, while after the point P, that Wilson line, where the moisture is 4%, after that the situation will goes downward and the saturation line will fall down, where entropy decreases and enthalpy decreases with respect to the entropy. In the flow of nozzle, when the effect of what is the effect of supersaturation? The temperature at which the steams become supersaturated will be less than the saturation temperature corresponding to the pressure. Therefore, supersaturated steam will have the density more than that of equilibrium condition, which result in the increase in the mass of steam discharge. The supersaturation causes the specific volume and entropy of the steam to increase. The supersaturation reduces the heat drop, thus the exit velocity of the steam is reduced. The supersaturation increases the dryness fraction of the steam. Then next effect, that is the effect of friction on the nozzle. Due to the friction, the entropy is increased while the energy available will decreases. The velocity of flow at the throat get decreased and the volume of flowing stream is decreased. Throat area required to discharge a given mass of steam is increased. We have the continuity and the steady flow energy equation through a certain section of the nozzle, where the m denotes the mass flow rate and v is the specific volume of the steam. A is the area of cross section and c is the velocity of steam. For the steady flow of the steam through a certain apparatus, principle of conservation of energy states that h1 plus c1 square by 2 plus gz1 plus q is equal to h2 plus c2 square by 2 plus gz2 by w, where h shows the enthalpy, c shows the velocity of the fluid or air, g stands for the gravity, where z stands for the height of the nozzle, q is the heat and w stands for the work. For the nozzle, changes in potential energies are negligible, where w is equal to 0 and q is equal to 0. Then the equation that forms, that is h1 plus c1 square by 2 is equal to h1 plus c2 square by 2, which is the expression of steady state flow energy equation. Next we have the diffuser. A diffuser is a device for reducing the velocity and increasing the static pressure of a fluid passing through a system. The fluid static pressure rises as it passes through a duct, which is commonly referred to a pressure recovery. In contrast, a nozzle is used to increase the discharge velocity and lower the pressure of a fluid passing through it. The frictional effect during analysis can sometimes be important, but usually they are neglected. Duct containing fluid flowing at low velocity can usually be analyzed using the Bernoulli's principle. Analyzing duct flowing at higher velocity with Mach number in excess of 0.3 usually require compressible flow relations. A typical subsonic diffuser is a duct that increases in area in the direction of flow as the area increases and fluid velocity decreases and static pressure rises. Today we will learn about the supersonic diffuser. That a supersonic diffuser is a duct that decreases in area in the direction of flow, which causes the fluid temperature, pressure and density to increase and velocity to decrease. These changes occur because the fluid is compressible, and shock waves may also play an important role in supersonic diffusion. As you can see, the typical vent in the diffuser and central ventilation duct. The diffuser are commonly used in the heating, ventilating and air conditioning system. The diffuser are used on both all air and all water HVAC system as a part of room air distribution subsystems and serve several purposes, as it deliver both conditioning and ventilation air and evenly distribute the flow of air in the desired direction. It also enhances mixing of room air in the primary air being discharged and often to cause the air jet to attach to a ceiling or other surface by taking the advantages of Coonada effect to create low velocity air movement in the occupied portion of the room. It accomplished the above while producing the minimum amount of noise. When the possible damper, extraction and the other flow control device should not be placed near the diffuser inlets, either not being used at all or being placed far upstream. They have been shown to dramatically increase noise production. For as catalogued diffuser performance, a straight section of duct need serve a diffuser. An elbow or kinged flex duct just before a diffuser often lead to poor air distribution and increased noise. Diffuser can be as a shape of round, rectangular or can be as linear slot diffuser, that is known as LSDs. Example, linear slot diffusers takes from one or several long narrow slots, mostly semi-concealed in a fixed or superheated ceiling. Occasionally, diffusers are mostly used in reverse fashion. As air inlet or returns, this is especially true for linear slot diffuser and puff diffuser, but more commonly grills are used as result or exhaust air inlets. Today we have learned about the nozzles and the diffusers that are passing through the nozzle and the air or the flow of steam which are passing through the diffuser and the nozzle, by which we are able to understand the efficiency of the nozzle as well as the diffuser and their application, where we can put this nozzle and diffuser and in somehow or somewhat efficiencies can be carried out by this process. Thank you friends for watching this video, and I hope you have learned most of the things from this lecture. Thank you again for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next. Thank you.